I'm Michael Cochran here with BentOak Capital to give you a brief market update for September 2024. Please stay tuned until the end for an important disclosure statement. With fall upon us and students back in classrooms, it seems like a good time to reflect on the various tests the U.S. economy and stock market have recently passed. When the economy and markets are tested, the foundation for future growth and capital appreciation gets stronger. In 2022 and 2023, the Federal Reserve undertook one of its most aggressive rate hiking campaigns, presenting a significant challenge for the U.S. economy. Despite widespread predictions for a recession, the economy continued to grow, driven by resilient consumer spending, even as interest rates climbed. How did consumers manage this? Government stimulus played a role, though it may have been more than necessary, and many have benefited from low fixed-rate mortgages. Regardless of the specifics, and despite the Fed's uneven track record, the economy thus far has passed this test. The economy also seems to have passed its inflation test. The widely followed Consumer Price Index, which peaked at a 9.1% year-over-year change in June 2022, dipped below a 3% rate of change last month. The same can also be said for the Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index, which is the Fed's preferred inflation measure. In response, the 10-year Treasury yield is down nearly a full percentage point since its April 2024 high, and mortgage rates are down even more. Call that a passing grade, though one could still argue for an incomplete. The stock market also passed a tough test recently. On August 5th, the combination of a weaker than expected jobs report for July and too much borrowing from some overly complacent traders, much of it in the Japanese yen currency, caused a sharp market sell-off. Stocks, for the most part, though, have rebounded throughout the month as more economic and company data came in. In the second quarter, U.S. GDP also grew at a strong annualized rate of 3%. Despite this volatility, major stock indexes posted modest gains in August. The gains were not only limited to big tech, as we have seen more sectors beginning to participate. It's important to keep in mind that historically, August and September have tended to be more volatile months. As we process economic news in the coming months, keep in mind that weaker periods are often followed by stronger ones. Perhaps the toughest test for the market lies ahead, with several key items we will be closely following, including the upcoming election and related policy uncertainty, continued geopolitical tensions coming from China, Russia, or Iran, and on the home front, rising debt levels, which could push for higher Treasury yields in the future. And lastly, despite corporate earnings growth, equity valuations remain slightly elevated. These factors may lead to increased short-term volatility, but both markets and the economy have a history of long-term success. It's likely that this bull market will continue after we get through a noisy and busy next couple of months. At BentOak Capital, our team is dedicated to consistently providing you and your family with personalized service. If you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out. And if you know someone that may benefit from our wealth management services, we are always happy to speak with them. As we conclude this month's video, we invite you to explore our website for relevant and insightful blog posts to provide you with reliable information to help separate actual news from the noise. Also, be sure to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn for additional updates in the coming months.